Hey everyone. So today I want to talk about something that might sound a bit weird at first, but it's basically code review comments that make me immediately think I need to hire this person. So it's not their code, it's not their resume, it's their comments on other people's code. Because basically here's the thing. Anyone can write code, but the way you review code, that reveals how you actually think. So let's dive into the 8 code review comments that are basically green flags waving so hard they're about to take off. Number 1, let's add a test for the edge case. Oh man, this one gets me every time. When someone spots an edge case that everyone else missed, that's gold. See, most developers think in happy paths. User enters valid data, everything works, ship it. But the developers I want to hire, they think about what happens when someone enters negative numbers, or empty strings, or decides to upload a 50 gigabyte file because, why not? These are the people who think beyond does it work to what could possibly go wrong. And trust me, in production, everything and anything can go wrong. The consequence of not having this person on your team, your app crashes at 2 a.m. on a Saturday because someone in Australia entered a negative quantity, and now you're debugging instead of in your pajamas sleeping. Number 2, this could be more readable. Now this might sound basic, but bear with me. This comment shows someone who understands that code is read way more often than it is written. They're not trying to show off with some super clever one-liner. They know that clever code isn't good code. Maintainable code is good code. And here's the beautiful part. They're thinking about the next developer, which, let's be honest, is usually them in 3 months when they've completely forgotten about what they were thinking. So without this mindset, you end up spending 3 hours debugging code you wrote last month, squinting at variables names like x2 and temp value final v3 and wondering what on earth possessed you to write it like that. Have we considered performance here? This is a developer who's thinking about scale before it becomes a problem. They see a nested loop and their spidey sense starts tingling. They're asking, sure, this works fine with 10 records, but what happens when we hit 10,000 or 100,000? Because O n squared looks totally fine until n equals 10,000, and suddenly your users are staring at loading spinners like they're watching paint dry. The consequence? Your database completely melts down on Black Friday when traffic spikes, and you're frantically trying to optimize queries while your CEO is breathing down your neck about lost revenue. These are the people who save you from that nightmare. Number 4. Nice, that is much cleaner than before. Okay, so this one might seem weird on a list about technical skills, but bear with me. Code review isn't just about catching bugs, it's about people. And someone who takes the time to give positive feedback, they understand that. They're not just a critic pointing out everything wrong. They're building trust. They're making their teammates actually want to write good code, not dread every pull request like it's a trip to the principal's office. Without this, your code reviews turn into these tense negative experiences. Morale tanks, people start avoiding reviews or getting defensive, and suddenly your team culture is toxic. The best engineers I know give just as much positive feedback as constructive criticism. Number 5. What if the service is down? This is a big one. This person isn't thinking about just their function, they're thinking about the entire system. They're considering failure modes. What happens when the API payment times out? What if the database connection drops? What if that third-party service you depend on decides to have a bad day? This is defensive programming mindset, and it's what separates people who build brittle systems from people who build resilient ones. The consequence of not thinking this way? One API timeout brings down your entire application like a house of cards. Everything's coupled so tightly that when one service sneezes, the whole system catches pneumonia. Number 6. Could we extract this to a helper function? This developer has a sixth sense for duplication. They spot it before it spreads like a virus through your code base. They're thinking about reusability. They know that DRY, don't repeat yourself, isn't just some academic principle. It's what saves you hours of maintenance later. Because here's what happens without this. You write the same logic once, then you need it again. So what do? You copy paste. and then again, and then again, and now that logic lives in 12 different places. And then when you need to update it, you update 11 of those places and miss one. And that one, that's the one that causes the big bug in production. Number 7. Let me suggest an alternative approach. Notice language here. It's not you should do this or no, this is wrong, but let me suggest. This is collaborative, not dictatorial. They're offering solutions, not just pointing out problems, and they're doing it in a way that respects the original author. They understand that it's usually more than one way to solve a problem, and maybe the author had reasons for their approach. Without this collaborative spirit, code reviews feel like criticism sessions. People get defensive, egos get bruised, and your team stops communicating effectively. The best code reviews feel like a conversation between peers, not a lecture from a know-it-all. Number 8. Is this backward compatible? This question shows someone who's thinking long term. They're considering existing users, existing integrations, and existing systems. You can write a wrapper. They understand that breaking changes doesn't mean updating your code. They mean paying for everyone using your API. They mean urgent updates. They mean angry customers. They're choosing sustainable evolution over quick wins. The consequence of ignoring this? Your deployment breaks 50 client integrations at once. Your support team is drowning in tickets, and you're writing an apology email explaining why everyone's app stopped working. So why do these comments matter so much? Because they show engineering maturity that goes way beyond syntax and algorithms. They reveal how someone thinks, not just what they know. They indicate someone who makes the entire team better, not someone who just writes good code. Honestly, there's a difference between a coder and an engineer. Anyone can learn a programming language, but this kind of thinking, this awareness of systems, people, edge cases, and long-term consequences, that's what you really want on your team. So here's the real question. Do your code reviews show these qualities? Because if you want to level up as a developer, start here. Start leaving better code comments. Start thinking beyond your own code. The next time you review someone's pull request, don't just look for bugs. Think about edge cases. Consider performance. Ask about failure modes. And hey, throw in some positive feedback too. Because great code reviews don't just improve code, they improve engineers. Alright, that's it for today. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments. What code review comments impressed you? I'd love to hear about it. Like and subscribe if this helped you, and I'll see you in the next one.